In nearly 30 years of teaching the piano, I have consistently run across one mindset that affects students of all ages and really holds them back. What is that mindset? Well, it's that counting is hard, or that playing while counting makes it harder to play. Well, the truth is, any new skill is bound to feel hard at first, and that is why counting from the very beginning of learning to play the piano is so crucial. I know it's hard to think about notes and finger numbers and dynamics and maybe even the pedal and then add counting. Well, it is challenging at first, but it is what will unlock your ability to play more freely and more accurately. And I kind of like to think of counting as being similar to that scene from that one movie, Avatar, the one with the blue people. It's where the character Jake Sully has to conquer the banshee in order to be able to ride it. Now, the banshee is that winged creature. It looks kind of like a dragon. I think it might also be blue. But each member of the tribe, basically, as he comes of age or she comes of age, has to connect with one of these creatures and basically conquer it in order to be able to have a mode of transportation. So each rider has to wrestle his or her own banshee and basically make peace with it. So, in the story or in the movie, Jake connects with one of these creatures and then must wrestle it into submission, which is no easy task. Once he has made the first connection with it, he must then take it on its first flight with him on its back. As you watch the scene, the beast throws him back and forth. At one point, he practically falls off a cliff. He's battered, he's bruised, but he doesn't give up. He succeeds in this after putting in quite a bit of effort. And at first, I would be willing to bet he probably wonders, is this really worth it? However, once he takes that first flight and he's able to go places, he's way up soaring over all the mountains, the trees. He can see everything for miles around below him. He's able to fly with this creature who has these incredible maneuvers. It can turn, it can bank, it can go up and down. It's just so cool. It really ends up being a transformative experience for him in the movie, and counting literally can feel just as challenging as wrestling the banshee in the beginning, but it can be just as transformative. So it's really counting is what allows the rider to soar and travel anywhere he or she wishes on the piano. It's going to help you take those steps into that more sophisticated repertoire and really sound like you know what you're doing. So it's a skill that's going to unlock other skills as you continue to advance. And really, this is why I include learning to count as part of my free course, Key Start Foundations 1. It's included along with many other skills that I literally lay the foundations for. If you'd like to get access to that, just drop piano in the comments below, and I'll make sure you get that. So let's take a look at how counting can really start to transform, especially some of the little bit more sophisticated rhythms. If you've been playing even for a short while, there's a good chance you've probably run up against something called the triplet. And these can be rhythms that you don't quite know what to do with if you aren't familiar with them. So let's go over to my level 1 book. Over on page 32, I have the Irish Washerwoman, which is just a traditional piece of Irish folk music, but it is full of triplets. As you can see, nearly the entire piece has triplets in here. So I think this looks like a really good place to start. Let's start by zooming in on the first line. Now we're going to look first of all at the time signature, and that's a 2/4 time signature, meaning 2 quarter note beats in each measure. And if we look at that, here's our first quarter note beat, here's our second, 1, 2. And we could keep going, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. So that is the rhythm that's set up. But now when you start looking at those quarter notes, you're going to see, oh, okay, here's a quarter note. You probably know what to do with that. But now up here in the treble clef, I've got 1, 2, 3 notes. So in essence, what I've done is I've chopped that quarter note into 3 equal pieces. And the way that we do this with subdivision is basically we want a syllable to go with each one of those divisions. A common way of doing this is 1 and a, 2 and a. Or as one of my colleagues likes to do, 1 o let, 2 o let. Either way is perfectly fine. You just need some way to have a syllable to say on each division of the triplet. Let's clear that off a little bit. The threes I should mention that you see here just indicate that we have cut that into 3 pieces. We don't continue going through here. You can kind of see that each of these subsequent rhythms is basically a triplet. So let's maybe go over to the piano and look at this. I'm going to write some counting in here. I'll just focus on the first line. So if I go 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and then you can kind of see where it goes from there. Let's see what this sounds like. Okay, I'm not going to worry about this first note. It's basically an upbeat. We're going to focus on the rhythm of the triplets. So I'm going to hit the upbeat, but then I'm going to count 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and Okay, that's an easy way to make sure you're staying even. You're cutting that quarter note into 3 equal pieces every single time. It's also a very good way to help you play slowly and absorb the notes and the fingerings while keeping a steady rhythm. I would actually advise doing this for the first few days, depending on how long you spend on it. Really get comfortable with that 1 and 2 and don't try to go fast quite yet. As you have absorbed all the little details, the notes, the fingerings, you're getting comfortable with the counting. The next step then with subdivision is actually to drop out the subdivision. Because if you were performing, you're probably not going to be saying 1 and 2 and up on stage. It might be a little awkward. So let's take this out of here. And now let's see if we can learn to feel just the quarter note beat. Subdivision's purpose is really to help you feel the beat. And what we're doing, the more times you hear it and feel it correctly, you're just going to get used to it. A lot of times I like to compare this to how bank tellers are trained to recognize counterfeit. A bank teller is never actually shown counterfeit money. They are shown the correct bills over and over and over many, many times, so many repetitions that it just becomes ingrained in them. Well, if the day ever comes when a counterfeit bill passes across their desk, they're going to notice something's not right about that almost instantly. And it's the same thing if you've programmed your rhythm in. If you're so used to that 1 and 2 and you're going to feel that. And if something's off, likely you're going to notice it right away. So that is how we work on developing a sense of rhythm. You aren't just born with it. It does need to be developed. Now let's go back to the piano for a minute and let's drop out the subdivision. I'm just going to play this first line again. 1, 2, 1, 2. Now you can feel that quarter note. 1, 2, 1, 2. And as you become more comfortable, this will allow you to increase tempo. 1, 2, something like that. And that's where you're going to get more and more comfortable. Like I said, these are the types of things I cover in my courses so that you develop these skills and you're going to be able to get very comfortable with them. In my next video, I'm going to be talking about using 16th notes and learning how to do those with subdivision.